Welcome everybody back to the channel. I'm your host Matty V. This is Matty Cars, and we are in our long-term test review vehicle. This is a 2022 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Unlimited 4xe. So what do we got going on here in terms of power? This is 375 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque coming from 3 motors. The center of the motor sandwich is a 2-liter turbocharged gas motor, 4-cylinder, generating 275 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque on its own. And that's mated with 2 electric motors, one that sits on the front of the engine, belt-driven, connected into the engine. That electric motor generates 44 horsepower, and the second electric motor sits behind the motor, actually in the transmission housing. It replaces the torque converter portion of the transmission, and it sits between the engine and the transmission, and that electric motor generates 134 horsepower for a total combined package of 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. Now that's a lot of power. It needs it because this vehicle weighs 5,222 pounds. Right, now all that power goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission and then out to a multi-speed transfer case. So this can run in 2-wheel drive, full-time 4-wheel drive, and then it has a 4-high and a 4-low. Because this is the Rubicon version, when you go into 4-low, it is a 4-to-1. So we've talked about the powertrain. I should also talk about the drive modes. Jeep allows you to do hybrid mode, electric mode, and then gas mode. We're currently in hybrid mode. I'm going to go into gas mode. They call it e-save. And I'll put it into e-save mode because the range of the battery, the 17 kilowatt battery that's powering those 2 electric motors, sits underneath the rear seat back here, and that 17 kilowatt hours will power those motors for about 21 to 25 miles. Let's talk about what this thing is. I mean, this is a Rubicon. This is a trail capable vehicle. It has lockers front and rear. It has the 4-to-1 transfer case we talked about. It has skid plates, including rock sliders. It has steel bumpers front and rear, which is an option. Driving dynamics, okay? Steering is really sloppy and really vague. You can see there's a lot of movement in the wheel without the tires even moving at all. We're on 33-inch BFGs, so some of that movement is being compressed into the tires and the squishiness of the sidewalls and whatnot, but there's just a lot of room here, a lot of play in the steering wheel. And then everybody knows that the Wrangler steering is super sloppy and super vague and can be dangerous, frankly. We just had the steering stabilizer replaced on this thing, and the steering is way better now. The brakes are great. It has disc brakes all around, and they're actually really strong and powerful, which is nice for a 5,222 pound vehicle. So the brakes are nice. The power delivery, acceleration is nice. Steering, not so nice. We'll come up here and do a little off-road test, which is where this thing really shines. We've had this thing down to Moab, where it's been a stellar performer. We've done a full EV fins and things in this, which was awesome. Okay, here we're looking over here at Widowmaker. Coming up on the off-road portion of the driver test here, we kind of get to realize the goodness of this vehicle. Okay, so I'm going to put this thing into 4 auto. We're going to put it into hybrid mode. We're just going to mash on it. So there's quite a bit of cabin noise. That's kind of typical for a Jeep. We have these thinner removable doors. The Sky One touch roof is basically like a soft top there in the middle of the Jeep. So we're cruising along here. Yeah, this is what this thing is built for, and this is why these are so fun. Cruise our way down to the shore here. Okay, hit hard on the brakes. Yeah, the brakes are actually really good in this vehicle. Boom, boom. This puts a smile on your face just like that. Let's back this thing up. I'll get a couple shots. Okay, fam, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. We are in the 2022 Rubicon 4xe. We are in electric mode. We're in 4 low. Sway bar disconnected. And we are not locked. We don't really need to lock for this obstacle. So we're gonna do the Widowmaker here in EV mode. It helps having the parking brake off. And I have a camera mounted underneath the Jeep. Let's see how it does. Hopefully it survives this. Oh mama. Okay, so there's a couple of articulation points we're coming up to here. This is what it's all about, people. We got the one-touch sky roof open, we got the windows down, we got the heated seats and the heated steering wheel on because it is 37 degrees out here. And we're gonna climb the Widowmaker in electric mode. So here we go, we're taking our time into the articulation points here. Had to give it a little extra juice there. We have both our electric motors working hard to pull this 5,200 pound vehicle up the slope. I'm gonna turn on the front camera because I realized I couldn't see. Oh, now I can see the rocks just fine. Oh, that is awesome. Get a quick shot of that for you guys here. So here we are coming up the Widowmaker with the front camera turned on. So we can't see really, but with the front camera I can easily see what's going on. So good. Please forgive me, guys. I'm filming this all by myself. I'm trying to get you all the camera angles. Coming up the crux right now. Oh, I'm gonna bump it just slightly, and we have summited the Widowmaker. Welcome, my friends. Oh, it's so fun. Let's go. Okay, fam, hope you enjoyed that. We just came off the Widowmaker over there. It's part of our off-road test. We had a lot of fun in the 4xe. We did all kinds of off-roading in electric mode, which I think is just totally awesome. Now, the doors off and the roof open and you're in electric mode crawling around in a Rubicon, it is pretty bananas, I gotta be honest. That really is where this vehicle shines. Okay, we're ready to try 0 to 60 pull here. So you have to be in 4 high auto in order to get the best 0 to 60 time. And then, like I said earlier, you do have to brake boost it. Let her rip. Okay, so there's 0 to 60 in 5.73 seconds. That's pretty dang impressive. 5.7. Section we'll try another 0 to 60 pull, so brake boost and then we'll go. A little faster. 5.73, exactly the same. Wow. 5.73 all day in this thing again. Okay, let's talk about styling. So this is a classic Rubicon Wrangler styling with the boxy shape. It's a narrow car. I think it looks great, actually, and I love this Sting gray color. It's kind of like the Nardo gray in the Audi lineup. I think it looks fantastic, and I love the blue accents from the 4xe. If you don't have the 4xe, then the Rubicon gets red stitching and red accents. I think the headlight, the front end design is really muscular and utilitarian, but that's what this is designed to be. I think they really nailed it, personally. It's a very upright design. The headlights are awesome. I love the fog lights, LED. The daytime lights that are round are awesome. The fender flares, you can either get black or body painted. I think it looks way better when they're body matched, body color matched, which is how this one is. It has a steel bumper with the blue tow hooks. end. I think the whole front end looks awesome. I'm a big fan of it. Hood, I think, looks great too. It has some vents that are actually functional, I think, and then it has the windshield mounts. If you want to fold the windshield forward, you can, and it rests on the hood. And then it has the decal to reduce glare. I really don't love these wheels. The tires are great. The BFG KO2s are awesome, but I don't really love these wheels. I wish they're a little bit more aggressive, but I understand why they're more subdued. And then the rear end has LED brake lights. It's got swing away tire carrier attached to the door, and then a glass that lifts up. That's the styling. I think overall I really like it, especially in this color with this blue treatment. I think it looks fantastic. In terms of driving this thing here on the back roads, visibility is really, really good. The way the front windshield is so upright, it brings these A-pillars really close to you, so you can easily see around them on both sides. Yeah, I think it's really easy to see out of this thing. I love how the hood is lower down, easy to see over the hood. In terms of driving it, it's comfortable to drive. It just kind of like meanders around. You don't want to make any sudden movements with this thing. Not the most stable design, but it'll get you down the road here, 65 miles an hour on a back road. It's comfortable for what it is. It is a body-on-frame truck. And there is quite a bit of noise here with the roof, but it's totally worth Wrangler. The roof is, in my opinion, a must-have option. Then when you're driving 65, 75, 85, you just deal with it, deal with the noise. I think the technology, starting with the adaptive cruise control in this vehicle, is really good. It's really high-level technology all the way around. All the parking sensors and the backup camera, the rear cross traffic alert and all that. And adaptive cruise control, which I love to use. It's also got an Alpine stereo system with the subwoofer. The stereo system is pretty dang good. Heated seats, heated steering wheel. I wish it had cooled seats. Some auxiliary buttons they provide for you, 4 auxiliary buttons, so you can add accessories. It's already pre-wired in. I think in terms of the gauge cluster, there's a tachometer over here. There's not really a speedometer, I should say. There's only a digital speedometer, because the other gauge over here is the power gauge, where it shows percent of power you're using and then the charge. The internal part of the gauge cluster is easy to read. The font is fine. It gives you a lot of information. There's tons of different menus you can go through. For 2022, I'd say it's kind of average, in my opinion. And then in terms of the steering wheel itself, controls in the steering wheel are really cool. I love how you have these controls on the back. You just control your volume and your stereo and mute and answer phone calls and whatnot on the back. I think that's really, really awesome. Now there's stuff, touchscreen stuff going on here, but there's also a lot of really just normal hard buttons. So all of your climate control and everything is a hard button, which I really, really appreciate. Love how this is all laid out. You got knobs and dials and everything you need to do. You can touch that and do that without even looking. After a while you get used to it. So that is the tech review. I think overall I'd give it 2 thumbs up. It could be updated to look a little bit more modern maybe, but in terms of the functionality, the layout, I really think they nailed it. We are now approaching the highway portion of our lake lap test. We are 40 miles from home. Right now the battery is completely dead, so this will be all hybrid mode. Our 52 miles for our lake lap so far. 32 of those have been gas and 20 of those were battery. Now a lot of that battery was goofing around on the off-road portion, so we didn't get a lot of battery mileage per se, but overall 20 miles of battery. Now we're about to get onto the freeway here and do our MPG portion of this. So I'm gonna see what kind of MPGs we get when we arrive home. So onto the freeway. See the beautiful mountains of the North County up there. Get onto the freeway here. I'm not doing anything crazy like acceleration wise. Just kind of easing onto the freeway here. I will set the adaptive cruise control at 75 miles an hour. can hear how noisy this thing is. And I will see you guys at the end of this. So let's go. Okay, we're coming to the end of our highway portion of the Lake Lab test. We have done 37 miles in the last 30 minutes. Our average MPGs over that distance is 20.9 miles per gallon. It's a comfortable drive, especially now that the steering stabilizer has been replaced. The Jeep tracks nice and straight. It's not bouncing around. The steering is very sloppy. It's pretty loud in here, so there's a fatiguing effect because of the noise. And as we're getting off the freeway here, you probably can tell it's getting quite a bit quieter in here. Yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like this is a great road trip car, I gotta be honest, just because of the noise. And it is a little bit fatiguing to steer it down the freeway. You do have to stay on top of it, and you know, it does get blown around quite a bit by wind or passing cars or whatever. So not really its best area, freeway cruising at 74 miles an hour, but it's adequate, you know. And I think with a fully depleted battery, we get around 21 miles per gallon is what we got here at 4,600 feet. Take that for what you will. The EPA estimate is 22 miles per gallon. There is our highway portion, test portion of the Lake Loop. Okay, so final thoughts on the long-term 15,000 mile update on our 2022 Rubicon 4xe. We really enjoyed the vehicle. I think it's not for everybody, to be honest. The plug-in hybrid aspect of it has been nice, but it really only works within 20-25 miles of home. And for most people, as long as you can charge, that might make sense. But for most people, I don't think it really does, to be honest. But in terms of a Rubicon and a Jeep, we've really loved it, and I think we're really gonna miss it. What do you guys think? What should we trade it for? What should be our next vehicle? Or should we just keep it? Actually, we already sold it. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate your time. If you like these videos, please consider liking and subscribing and sharing, and we'll see you on the next one.